Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am here today with a very special guest. You know, our tagline for our company is helping people create sexy businesses for sexy lives. And I am like in a circle of people who have had some great success, but some of them ignored their health along the way, or they ignored their family along the way, or they ignored other really important things. They might have found success in business, but they certainly didn't create a sexy life. And my sweet guest is here to help us with creating a sexy life along the way instead of waiting until one day when we have to spend all that wealth on getting well. So I'm excited to introduce you to the founder and owner and baker extraordinaire of A Little Piece of Cake in LA. She is also a movie star because she's got a Facebook live series called In the Kitchen with Kim. She helps people learn how to eat more plant-based. So welcome Kim Mcghee to the My Sexy Business team.
Hello, everyone.
You know, I really find it amazing how many like super smart people will create a business and they will sacrifice their health along the way. And then one day they go to the doctor or they have some kind of an incident and then they end up getting, told by a doctor, you've got to change how you're eating. You've got to change what you're doing. And they're so surprised by that.
Yes.
What is it that caused you to want to do plant-based?
Okay, so we can go back to about 5 years ago. I was the heaviest that I had ever been. Usually I'm around, I would say like 150, and I was approaching 200 pounds. And not only that, but I didn't really feel my best. I had migraines all the time, headaches. I was feeling fatigued. I didn't really have any energy whatsoever. I found myself sleeping a lot because my energy was just that low. And then I was also starting to have joint pain.
Mm.
So that's when I realized, okay, what is my body trying to tell me? Because our bodies always gives us signs, and we should start to be in tune with our bodies and who we are so we can understand what it's trying to tell us. So I was in tune with my body and I know something wasn't right. And I started doing research and I discovered that it was the food that I was consuming. It
Mm.
was what I was eating on a day to day basis that was making me feel that way. So I started reading labels because before that, I didn't really read labels. And that's why I always say that's the number one tool that you should pick up when you're eating plant-based or when you just want to be healthy overall is to read label. And it only takes a few seconds. So that's why we have to learn to slow down a little. Just read labels. If it's the majority of the information is stuff that you cannot pronounce, then just leave it alone. You want to be able to read and understand what you're eating and what you're putting in your body. So from there, I started changing the way I ate. The way I ate. I switched. I didn't go vegan right away, but I switched to organic. So before that, I was just buying groceries at the store, and they were pretty much all GMO. And I really didn't know what that was about, but that's where my research and trial and error and all of that stuff came into play. So I switched to organic, and then from there I slowly transitioned into eating plant-based. And yes.
Well, and I can tell you there's nothing like a not feeling good or having some pain in your life to remind you as to why it's important to monitor what it is we're putting in our faces. I
Yes, yes.
I'm a great example of that as well because I will get busy. This is the thing I've found the hardest with making that transition is I will get busy and I will default back to what I have always done or grew up doing. And then
Yeah.
I find myself again not feeling well or again having foggy thinking or, a whole list of things. And it's like, why do I keep going back there? And
Yes.
I think you have a great attitude about it that um that it is a journey. It's not just a one-time thing.
Yes. Yes, it's a journey that leads to a lifestyle. So that's what you want to remember, and you have to allow yourself the time to transition. It's not going to happen overnight. We've been taught to eat a certain way, so all of those years under our belts from eating that way cannot be replaced overnight. So we have to slowly take our time and transition and pretty much rethink and relearn the way that we eat and what we put on our body, because it's not only what we eat, it's what we put on our bodies as well, because our skin is the largest organ that we have. So lotions and perfumes and all of that stuff plays a part as well, because there's chemicals and poisons and those things as well. So that's why I said we're being systematically poisoned through our water, our food, and our air. And it's not really the government's responsibility for our health. It's our responsibility for our health. And we have to take that responsibility back. We have to take our health into our own hands, our self-care into our own hands. So we know what we're eating, we know what we're getting, and that way overall we can be more healthy and live healthier lifestyles.
Well, I can tell you if it came in a bottle like the old cartoons where it had this skull on it and the little crossbones and danger and all that, we might think twice. But because all of those poisonous things and things that are not good for us come in brightly colored marketing packages, it's
Yeah.
really hard to know the difference.
Yes, yes. And that's where, again, reading labels comes into play and researching, because if we're interested in something, what do? We go to Google, we find it out. So I say do the same thing with your health, and with the food that you eat. If you don't know what something is, look it up, research it, take those few little minutes just so you can know what you're consuming and what you're putting on your skin, and that's all it takes. And then once you have that knowledge, it's with you forever. So it's not like you're constantly, you have to go back and research that same thing. Once you possess it, then it's yours to keep, and you can incorporate it into your lifestyle.
Well, my one of my friends who um, teaches a lot of the same stuff that you do. She
Mm-hmm.
recommended a book for me to read, and it is so good because it was called, I think it's called the Anti Cancer Institute. It's
Okay.
Killing Cancer, Not People is the name of the book.
Yes.
And I started reading it, probably, I'm not even sure how many months ago, but a while ago. And I still haven't finished it. It's so much information. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the things that I have found is that it's overwhelming when you have eaten fried everything and
Yes.
potatoes with every meal and all of those kind of things for all of your life, and then you decide you're going to do this transitioning over to plant-based. It is a big deal. people
It
you know
is.
people take it on and then they don't count the cost basically, and so they
Mm-hmm.
quit in the middle because they don't realize it is a long-term solution, not a quick fix.
Yes. Yes. It's definitely not a quick fix. Like I said before, it's a journey, it's a lifestyle. So you want to give yourself that grace in that time. And cancer rate is so high now. It's just extremely high, and that all goes back to the food. So we want our body in an alkaline state because cancer cannot live in an alkaline environment. It can live in an acidic environment. So that's where the fruits and the vegetables come into play because they're naturally alkaline. Meat is acidic, dairy is acidic. Um, yeah, a lot of the processed foods. So if you're constantly taking all of that in on a daily basis, then that's what your body is. It's acidic, and cancer can live there. It can grow there. It can feed. You're giving it food to eat. So when you put your body in an alkaline state, you're actually starving the cancer cells if you do have them, or if you don't, they can't even grow because that's just not their environment. So they're going to totally stay away. And so that's why, and I encourage people to start off with just maybe one meal a week. You can do a meatless Monday. So when Monday comes around, if you don't know what to cook, just have the sides. Like, your maybe your rice or your vegetables. And I encourage people not to really do canned vegetables or fruit because that's so processed, and yeah, that's definitely not alkaline. So you want to do fresh veggies, and you can saute them up. If you don't know how to cook, it's easy to put a little oil in the pan and toss your veggies around, saute them till they're like they're not soggy, but they're firm yet tender. So yeah, that's where I would suggest that you start. And then as you do that, you can incorporate more days.
Mhm.
So I always tell um, whoever I'm talking to, my motto is I'm 80% vegan plus 20% indulgence equals a happy balance. So I try to eat at least I try to eat plant-based at least 4 to 5 times a week. And then on the weekend, if I want, I can indulge. And I totally use my indulgent passes. So I'm not I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. This is something that I transitioned into. It didn't happen overnight. So I extend that grace to the people I talk to, whoever I tell, allow yourself that time. It's not going to happen overnight. You want to slowly transition, and you're going to feel some type of way. You're going to feel moody. You're going to feel upset. You're going to feel frustrated. You're definitely going to cry. You're going to be, yes, you're going to have all of these emotions coming through, and that's your body actually getting rid of the toxins and the chemicals. So it's like a detox because the meat has so many chemicals and so many poisons, and a lot of the meat is cancerous. They have tumors, and what they do is they just might pop the tumor, expel the pus, slice it on up, package it on up, and they still serve it to us. And when I found that out, I was just like, wow, okay. So they're not even concerned about our health. This is more of a money game. So we it's a must. We have to take our health into our own hands. We have to be 100% responsible for what we're putting in our mouth. And we all can be busy. You know, that's what the world is all about. Everybody is on a fast pace. Everything is so busy. So we have to really figure out what's important to us. How important is your health to you? How important is your health to your family? You know, who depends on you? Who loves you? So it starts with loving yourself, and then looking at your why and who's around you and what you're doing this for, because we all have loved ones who depend on us, who need us, who love us, who wants to see us here and healthy and alive.
Yeah.
So it's all about prioritizing. And even if you don't have time to meal prep, there's it doesn't take but a few minutes to whip up some vegetables, because meat takes a long time to cook, veggies doesn't. So I know we all have at least 20 minutes in our day to make a sound choice, to go in that refrigerator, pull out our veggies, and cook up something. And in the beginning, you might not like the taste. It might not taste as good as fried food does, but we're eating to live, not living to eat. So that's what we want to get into our head, that we're actually eating so we can live to be around longer, and not just living to eat whatever the world has to offer.
Yes.
And if you notice the marketing now, it used to be, I was just talking to my husband about this the other day. Um, the marketing has changed actually to where now they're marketing all these food commercials and all these fast food commercials and all this meaty, cheesy, triple stack burgers with 5 slices of cheese. And so they're getting into our minds and they're marketing what they know will poison us. And in turn, will become a customer for the doctor. And then that's just the whole money cycle. So we're a patient, a lifetime patient. Okay, we're going to keep pushing this on them. They'll eat it, and in turn, they'll be sick or in the hospital. They'll need care. They'll need prescriptions. They'll need pills. So it's just a vicious cycle, and we have to break it and cut it, and not force it on people, but just slowly change the things that we're eating and what we're doing, and let people see that. And then in turn, they're like, hey, well, what are you doing? I see you're looking a little different. I see you're happier. Your skin is glowing. You're looking a little slimmer. So they'll start to notice
Mhm.
the changes, and that'll fuel you and motivate you to just want to keep at it.
So, what has been the benefit for you? Because it's been 5 years, you said, since the beginning of you transitioning. What
Yes.
benefits do you like get to enjoy today because you made that transition?
Okay, so when I first transitioned to organic, the benefits were right away. As far as I didn't have a whole lot of migraines and headaches anymore, the joint pain slowly went away. I felt better. I had more energy. I wasn't as fatigued now. And then I also started to lose a little weight, but it wasn't really until I went full on plant based, with the 80/20, that I really started getting all of the benefits. So when I first went organic, I still had meat in my diet. And that was on an everyday basis. But once I went vegan or transitioned to plant based, I pretty much cut out the meat except for, on the weekends. And the weight just started falling off. So the majority of the weight that I've lost, and I've lost 30 pounds, has happened within this last year of me eating plant based.
Wow.
And then also, my skin is glowing. So my husband was telling me this before, and I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. My skin ain't glowing. I've always had, smooth skin. And he's like, no, babes, your skin is glowing. So the benefits are from the inside out. And
Mhm.
that's why I say I help meat eaters love plants so you can learn to heal your bodies from the inside out with the power of food.
Mm.
Because if you're all shiny and nice on the outside, but your insides are barely hanging on, falling apart, or breaking down, what good is that? That's like having a lemon as a car. It's nice, it's shiny, it looks good, but your motor doesn't work, your transmission is about to break down. You're not going to get very far. And
I love that
so,
analogy.
yes. And so that's where Yeah, it's just like a transformation from the inside out, from head to toe. You just feel it. You feel so much different. You have mental clarity. You have focus. Um, you have energy. You're just glowing. The pounds are shedding, and then the food is delicious. I've been cooking for so long, but now cooking is like a challenge. It excites me. There's so many fruits, there's so many vegetables that you can play around with and cook that I'm really having fun in the kitchen.
Well, I love watching you have fun in the kitchen because while you're cooking, you're giving us tips and you're giving us ideas. And I love that you tell us to try. Tell us to try things. Don't be restricted, and don't, think that it has to be done a certain way. To
Yes.
experiment. I guess that's the right word. To experiment with things.
Yes, and there's really no wrong way or right way. It's just your way because we all cook a certain way and you don't have to do it exactly how I do it. You just get in there and you cook what you love. Depend on if you like broccoli or bell peppers. Everyone is different. So that's why I say just do it your way. Of course with a little bit of flavor. But that's where all of the deliciousness comes from because, for example, if you have a steak in front of if you have a steak in front of you and you don't season the steak and you just fry it up or you put it on the grill, the steak is not going to be that tasty. It's really not. So it's all about the seasoning. That's what creates flavor in the food. So as long as you season your vegetables, then you're good. Yeah.
And you can season them really well. I saw you do one the other day that I thought was fascinating, and that was you made mushroom steaks.
Yes. Ooh, that is so good. Did you try that?
I haven't yet, but I intend to,
Okay.
because I was impressed by, like, just the possibility of that, because like I said, I'm still very new to all of this, and
Yes.
you know, I I think I've transitioned several times in my lifetime. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've eaten fairly healthy and what I thought was really healthy, and then only to find out that it wasn't healthy. It's just like leaving off dairy. I never thought
Oh,
dairy could have such a big impact, but it
yes.
does.
Yes. It creates mucus in the body. And wherever there's mucus, there's disease or inflammation. So that's where the dairy comes into play. And yeah, that's basically it. It causes mucus. And if you notice, um, let's take for example, if you have like a chest cold or you have pneumonia, there's a lot of mucus associated with that. And even the doctor tells you if you have a baby or if you have a toddler and you take them to the doctor and they have a cold, they tell you don't give them milk, lay off the milk until they feel better because it creates mucus.
Mm.
So, with that being said, they're only telling you that because the baby is sick and it already has mucus, so you don't want to create more mucus. But in hindsight, they're really telling you that milk or dairy creates mucus. So, yes, that's where the inflammation and the disease come from. Wherever there's mucus, you know that there's going to be a problem in that area. So, yeah, yeah.
There's so much to know. I think that's the thing that's so crazy, and I can't believe we're already out of time. We
Okay.
we could talk all day long, and I wouldn't get tired of listening because you are so
Yes.
knowledgeable, and you've walked the walk. I think that's the thing, is I want to follow someone who I can relate to, who has not always been vegan or always eaten plant-based, because
Yes.
I don't know how to relate to that. I need the middle version. I love green drinks, and I still have been eating bad at times. So I want that one. I want to follow somebody that doesn't pass judgment on that, but helps me get better choices into my world.
Yes, yes.
So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on today and helping us. It truly is something that happens a lot when people start getting like true wealth and their
Mm-hmm.
businesses are successful. It seems like that's when they start going back and realizing, oh, wait a minute, I need to have taken better care of myself.
Yes, yes.
So
Health is wealth.
health is wealth. That's right,
Yes,
because if you don't feel good, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
yes,
So
yes. If you don't have
appreciate
your health, yes.
I appreciate you sharing with us today, and I appreciate your video series. If anyone wants to follow you and check out your cooking show, In the Kitchen with Kim, will you post a link in the comments when we get off the
Sure.
interview so that they can hop over to your Facebook page and see what you're up to?
Yes, I will definitely do that. And before I go, I just want to give 3 tips.
Okay.
Okay, so Um, the first thing that I would suggest that you do right now, or what you are, or what you have, is to replace at least one meal per week with just all plant based. And then, if you can cut out the high fructose corn syrup, so that involves reading labels. If it has high fructose corn syrup in it, just leave it alone. And then also stay away from soy. I know it's hard because soy is in almost everything, but that is what's really causing us to feel bad and to gain extra weight that's unnecessary. So those will be just the 3 tips that you can start off with. And you would have to tune in every week and watch me just to get good recipes and go from there. Because I definitely encourage you. And then I also give you delicious food that you would enjoy.
Oh my goodness. And it looks so good. I just want to like fly to LA and have some. Every time she cooks and she posts pictures, it's like, oh my goodness, I got to try that now. So thank you
Thank
for all
you.
that you're doing to transform lives, because that's what it's about for all of us in this circle. We want to help people have better lives. And to me, a sexy life is a healthy life. So
Yes.
thank you very much, Kim. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
watching today. If you are trying to transition, or you just are curious, even hop on over to Kim's page and learn from her. She is walking the walk, and she understands that there is a transition period. She understands that there is not a quick fix to this, so she can be a great advocate for you to transition to a more plant-based and better health. So thank you guys for watching. This is Kim White with the My Sexy Business Team. We'll see you in the next video.